So we've taken a look at equations. Now I want to take a look at some complex equations. Now right away you're thinking, complex, that sounds hard. Well, it's a little bit hard, but all the same rules actually apply. There's really only one new thing you learn. So let's look at an example. So let's say we had 2x plus 1 equals x minus 3. Now before, we've only had an x of some sort on one side of our equation. Having one on each side doesn't actually matter too much, but there's one thing we gotta remember. When you have all these terms, there are really two types of terms. There are variable terms, which, as you can hear by the name, include a variable. So of course our only variable in this equation is x. So anything that contains an x is a variable term. Right? And anything that does not contain a variable is a constant term. One and our negative 3. You'll notice I've included that negative. Whenever you have a negative in front of a term, you have to include that. Keep it with it whenever you move that term around. So that 3 there is always going to be a negative when we move it around. Okay, so let's actually solve this problem here. So I'll rewrite it. 2x plus 1 equals x minus 3. Well, when you've got constant terms or variable terms on both sides of the equation, really all you really want to do is group all of your variable terms on one side and all of your constant terms on the other. So let's try that. So we want to put all the x's over here, all those variable terms over here. Well, how do we get rid of this x? Well, we have 1x, so we want to subtract it. Now you might be thinking, well, how do I know not to divide it? Well, let's pretend that x is something else. Let's pretend it's an apple. If I have one apple and I want to get rid of that one apple, I will subtract that one apple. I'll just take it away. And take away and subtract the same thing, right? So let's do that. Okay, so we do x minus x. That's going to get rid of the x. Subtract 3. And then, of course, when we do something on one side, we do it on the other. So 2x minus x plus 1. So these will cancel out. They become 0 and they disappear, right? Leaving negative 3 on that side. 2x minus x. That's just another 2 of something minus 1 of something equals, well, just 1 of it. So x plus 1. Okay, so now we've got all our variable terms combined on one side. We've got one step left, and that's to get our constant terms to the other. So we've got a plus 1. We're just going to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. So minus 1. That cancels out. And we're left with x equals negative 3 subtract 1. So we're just saying negative 3, and then we're going to go another negative 1, and we'll have a negative 4. X equals negative 4. So it's not too bad. I mean, all you really need to remember is that you want all your variable terms on one side and all your constant terms on the other. And as I said in simple equations, we could have moved them to the other side. I could have moved all the x's to this side and all of the constant terms to the other side. And in the end we would have ended up with something like that. But that's the thing. It's the same answer. You just do whatever's convenient. And that's complex equations.